Welcome to Gutter Farms. We're back with another episode of UMRV Upper Mississippi River Valley, and today we are going to be finishing up our sunflower harvest here and hopefully a lot of our other fall harvest activities. We're testing right now to see if the course play driver is going to be able to successfully unload. We have high confidence it's worked pretty well for us in the past, so I'm going to let this go. I'm not controlling anything here. It looks like it just got into the front hopper. I'm hoping after it fills the front hopper, it's going to back up a few feet and finish filling the back hopper here. I haven't used this mode for course play in quite some time. We've been focusing more on our forage harvesting with the auto drive setup, so we'll see what happens here. It's right on the line between the two, and it looks like it might not be doing anything here. That's unfortunate. I was kind of hoping it would back up and keep unloading. Sometimes I know it's had issues kind of getting stuck in between, so for better or worse, I guess we'll jump into the semi, and I'm just going to pull it forward a smidge here and see if it'll unload. It looks like it's trying to inch forward, so it's detecting the zone a little bit incorrectly, which is unfortunate. So I'm going to just kind of force it to finish unloading me here. There we go. And now that it's all emptied out, we can take this semi up to the yard. It should hopefully kind of keep doing its thing. I hope it's not going to try and follow the semi out of the yard here. Oh, it looks like it is trying to follow me and unload. Let's stop this guy and put him back into the field. I think since we're only at 5%, if I start the worker back off, it's just going to try and get out to the combine now. The combine was getting empty, and the truck is full. We'll tarp it up and bring it back up to the farm. Now, rather than do all the driving here, I'm going to set this up to deliver to the bin site and just start it off, because we've got a lot of jobs going on the farm right now, and we don't have time to sit there and monitor everything. Looking here, our combine, wow, that's got over an hour left to go on this field, which is actually surprising. I'm going to adjust some of our settings as we go around here. It is a pretty decent sized field, so I guess that's okay. If the automation can keep up with this, I don't think that's going to be a problem. And then we'll just jump over here. It looks like, as usual, our spreader is getting hung up on these tight corners. It does make me think maybe we need to switch this worker out, or this tractor out, for a better tractor that can handle some of these things a little bit differently in the future. We get into this weird oscillation problem. Oops, we get into issues with the sharp corners. It's just generally been kind of a pain. So that is an improvement I'm going to be looking to make as we get into the next season. I do want to kind of keep things moving as is for this season. Now, I'm trying to think, have we already done this path? Did I just set this guy off on a course we've already done? It looks like I have. Sometimes when there's two overlapping courses and we grab him and put him on nearest waypoint, we run into that problem. If I'd chosen the last waypoint in that situation, it probably would have been better. That's okay. All we've got to do is circle back over to the crossover and get him lined up here. We'll do the cutover ourselves. Let's see if it can take care of things from here. Got to keep an eye on this tight corner, but I think it'll handle that without any further issues. Looks good. And we just refilled this spreader before we started the episode here, so we're forgetting to start guys back off as we jump back into the game. That's my bad. We'll get going. We've got over an hour of slurry spreading to go here, but it should go pretty smoothly, I think, as long as I remember to keep the worker moving. We're a quarter of the way through this field now. With such a large field, it runs pretty efficiently, I found. And checking in finally on the other side here, it looks like our mowing is almost complete. We do need to jump into getting our windrowing and baling going, which I think is going to be the next job that we tackle now that we've got all the workers figured out. But before we start in on that, let's go ahead and get these sunflowers dumped out. We are going to need to get this semi back out to that field, because we're probably going to get at least a few more loads off, given how much longer that combine has to run out in that field. I've been consistently underestimating the volume of crops that we're going to get out of a given field in both of my playthroughs lately. So we're going to try not to make the same mistakes here. And one thing that I wish I had done before we left that field is set up an auto drive destination for that field. We didn't do that though, so I'm going to have to drive this back out to the field real quick here and get that set up so that I can at least send the semi back and forth from the farmyard here without having to do all of the transportation manually. Ideally, I guess we could set this up with a loop, but that would take a lot of finagling, and sometimes I do like to stay involved. I don't like to 100% automate every detail of the farm. The point is to keep playing on our own with some of this stuff. An AI worker Philip is blocked by an object. I'm not sure who that is. Most likely, though, it's going to end up being our grain cart, or not our grain cart driver, I'm sorry, our dry fertilizer spreader. That's my best guess. So we'll go ahead and park this semi in the same place we had it. I think the grain cart driver was able to locate it no problem over here. And as expected, it is this dry spreader once again on these super sharp curves. Hopefully this is the last of the sharp curves. Seems to be the biggest problem when we have to do these big U's back in on ourselves. So we'll just take this around the corner. We're almost out of lime. I'm hoping we can make it kind of back up to where the semi is parked, right on the opposite side of the field there, but I'm sure we won't with how fast this material gets used up. And over here, we're going to go ahead and take off the auto drive course that's keeping our barns full of feed. We're going to need this tractor to run the rake for our hay setup. So let's get this feed wagon brought back through the other barn here that we haven't been running a auto drive worker on for the time being. This will let me empty it out real quick before we disconnect. Always pays to keep the animals fed whenever I'm thinking about it. I like to make sure we're not going to run into a situation where I've forgotten a barn, especially because we did move the time forward here recently. Oh, it looks like we must have topped this off at some point, so I'm going to just drop this feed wagon right in here, and we'll take this tractor down and find the rake. Now, I don't think I've run the rake on this tractor before, but it should have enough horsepower to pull this thing through the fields. I think generally, even a powered rake like this doesn't require a lot of power, but we'll find out here. It might be a little bit oversized for this tractor, but I think it's a better setup than what we had before with the 8RX on some of this equipment. This is going to work out for us, so let's see. And we've got the new 8410 on the baler, which I think is really going to work out well. It's got a lot more power than our other tractor did. So I'm going to go ahead and unfold the baler here. And this is going to be leveraging follow me. So let me see if I can get in a good position behind our rake. And I'm trying to remember if it's shift. Nope. There we go. I did a rake control F. I think that's following this tractor here. We'll find out in about 1 minute. Get this all set up and start pulling forward. Let's see what happens. Worker Sarah stopped. Tank is empty. That's got to be either our that's got to be our dry fertilizer, or I'm sorry, we're spreading lime with it. Let's turn the baler on. I'm gonna swing around. I'm gonna pick up this part that we missed, and then I will restart follow me. We don't want to be missing big spots before we've even gotten started. I always forget that follow me pretty much just does whatever you tell it to. It's not smart enough to turn equipment on or off or anything like that. Let's give this another shot real quick. I'm going to get going just a little bit to make sure this is all working as intended. And then I will go manage our dry fertilizer, or I'm sorry, our lime spreading. It looks like we did not. What did I mess up? Well, we'll get caught up once again here, and I always forget the key combinations for this mod because I don't use it that frequently. Is it right? Control F. It says that we're following. I think that's good. I think I just didn't give it enough time last time because now I see the worker over there. And now everything seems to be working for us finally. All right. Well, with that, let's pause here for a second. Check on digestate. Working good. It looks like our mowers are starting to come in and pile up. We'll be fine with that. And we're going to jump into our semi here. Let's see if I can head on out here and find that dry spreader. It's got to be down in the corner of the field here. And as expected, it's in the farthest corner of the field here. Wouldn't expect anything else from you. I have to say, for the most part, things have gone smoothly, but this particular implement setup has been our least favorite, the dry spreader here. I love the implement, don't get me wrong, but we always seem to need to refill it in the worst possible spots, and this tractor that we're using on it is just not been working out well for us. I don't know, we're gonna completely rethink this for next season. However, we've got it all topped off, and we're on the final round of the headlands, so I'm hoping this is going to be enough to get us going. Let's get it started back off, and I'm going to go ahead and take the corner personally, just because I know we have a tendency to get hung up on these sharp corners. No sense leaving anything to chance. We'll drive around the corner and start it back off here. There we are. Get it lined up relatively straight, and let's go ahead and bring this driver back up to the end of the field just to keep him out of the way. No sense in leaving our equipment in awkward spots. And of course, before I can even park the other semi, the slurry spreader is also run out, so we might as well just keep these two in sync, get all of our refilling done at the same time. It is a full-time job keeping all these workers moving on their respective fields here. I can't wait to be able to automate some more tasks when we switch our baling over to the big field. That'll be able to all run automatically. Of course, by then we'll have to be getting our trailer out to haul bales up to the farm. But there we go, we're all topped off. I'll get this moving again, and we will check back in with you over with our rake and baler setup. All right, finally we're back over here. Hopefully everything is still hooked up and running correctly. We'll try and keep our turns nice and gradual as we work our way around the headlands. Get all of the hay raked up here in a way that our baler friend behind us can continue to keep up. And I'm oversteering a little bit. Luckily, we've got quite a bit of freedom with the size of this rake. We can handle taking all 3 rows no problems, even if I oversteer from time to time. As long as I keep that center row under the tractor, though, we should be good. And the baler's doing an admirable job of keeping up with us now. I think having that bigger tractor on there is helping us out a lot. And the 4440 seems to be champing out our 9 miles an hour with the rake, which is perfect. I have to say, working on the giant side hill like this is always a little bit terrifying. There's a good chance of slipping off of that hill into the ditch. I had that experience in real life once with a combine. I accidentally backed into a irrigation ditch like this, and we spent a full day getting it pulled back out, and you know, things happen. But it's always fun trying to navigate this. And man, I've got another worker that is stopped unexpectedly with a full tank. I am curious which one that is, because I just refilled both the lime spreader and the whatchamajigger. slurry spreader. There shouldn't be anything else that is running out there. I'm not sure what's going on. We'll have to go back out and check on both of those in a second. But before I do that, I want to get lined up on our up-down rows. So I'm cleaning up a little bit of the side parts here, but really I'm just trying to get up here to where our rows start so I can grab 3 rows at a time and kind of keep things moving. Let's see, I think that's going to be this next row right here. Should be perfect. And of course we've got a bale sitting right at the end of it, so we're going to need to navigate around that so we're not crashing into it. I don't want to pick that up by accident with the rake here. That could be a bit of a disaster. But we also have to balance out trying to not take our turns too steeply or the baler won't be able to follow us. So I'm going to skip 3 rows and then I'm going to come right up in on this second set like so. And then I should be able to kind of do the same thing and come back and get those 3 rows next to us on the next pass. We'll have a little bit more freedom to pick up rows as we turn around on the next headland here. Although, man, that bale is right in the way. We might have to try and lift up and go over that because I don't see any way to turn sharp enough to not run into that with the rake here. We're going to keep going until here. Lifting up. And then a nice tight turn here. Whoops, too tight of a turn. Hopefully that doesn't cause problems. And, oh, we're monkeying with everything. I'm accidentally hitting tons of buttons trying to get lined up here. Raising and dropping and in and out of the cab and all kinds of things. My goodness. Oh, come on, baler, you can do it. I know I messed you up, but I'm hopeful that you can figure this out without losing too much of the track. Looks like he more or less figured it out. We'll probably have some things to clean up at the far end there. As always with workers, I can't believe this thing perfectly left a bale right in the middle of each row on the headland. Inconvenient, but manageable. And here we go. We're going to take this all the way back down the end of the fields here, just to not have to keep jumping back and forth between our different lines. And I think before I forget, we need to jump back out there and tackle that dry spreader, get that lime moving again. So what I'm going to do is, just to make sure our helper doesn't run into any major problems, I'm going to make the turn. We're going to get it pointed in the right direction here, and then we'll take our pause, leave all this running just so that nothing gets broke. And that should be far enough forward, I think, for that worker to do its thing. Just checking here real quick, it looks like our digestate's still moving. So we will jump into our semi with the fertilizer and try and find our worker, which looks like it's all the way on the other end of the field there. Almost done going around that first headland pass, I'm guessing. So luckily, we've got a little bit of lime left in the back hopper here that we can put in there, and that should be more than enough to finish whatever might be left. I can't imagine it's more than a few feet. Yeah, it did get empty. It looks like, just like the other field, it's going to be just a few feet of area that didn't get spread. So I'm going to pull ahead here. We'll get it unloaded. Hop over here, should be able to see on the map there, as expected, it's nothing. It's just this little triangle to our left. So I'll start us off and drive forward here. That should finish it off. Well, with that, I can go ahead and kill off that course play course, and we'll sneak out on this side of the telephone pole. I honestly can't remember where we're headed next with this setup. I think the last field that we're going to need to put any pH down on will be the sunflower field once we're done over there. But I don't want this equipment sitting in the way just yet. I think it's going to be better off if I just leave it parked right there. So we'll leave it there, and I'm going to go ahead and get this semi headed back up to town, because we will need another load of lime to finish off that other field. So off we go. Bulk dry There you are. Let's check in here on the grain cart. I'm going to turn this off. The mode where it backs up and fills the other hopper doesn't seem to be working out so well for us here. Everything else, though, obviously it got back down here and was unloading the combine in between because we've got another load. All that seems to be working great. So we'll just manually check in on him every once in a while and kind of get things moving. Let me move this back up into the field just to get him out of the way here. Something like so. And hit play. Should sit there and wait for the combine to be ready. And this time we're not going to forget. We need to set up an auto drive course for field 21 here. So I think what I'll do is actually drop the grain trailer. Even though it's full, I wouldn't normally do that, but I think for ease of course creation, it's going to make more sense to get rid of it. And I'm going to back this guy up a little bit. Here we go. I'm going to record the way in like this. Stop recording. We're going to do field 21. And then what I think I want to do here is I'm going to make this part of it a two-way course, and we're going to start the recording from here back out towards the farm. I'm not going to bother setting up all of the courses that we would normally need to go both directions and all that jazz right this second. I don't think I need them. I'm going to click from here to here, and we'll... why can it not... Well, I was going to have it do a curve out, but it doesn't seem to be wanting to let me do what I want to do, so I suppose we'll just record it and then drag it out manually. It's always something with these auto drive courses. And then if I give that a little bit more of a curve, that should be good enough for us. We'll try it out. And then let's see if it's capable of making this turn without hitting that power pole. I'm not optimistic with how tight in we're turning, but maybe it'll work out. Oh, it did. Look at that. All right, so we're good here. And we're back into the haying setup. We got to get this field done. I want to get moving on our big field sooner than later, and I want to start picking up some of these bales and get them into the harvest store so that we're making more TMR. If I remember correctly, we're about out of hay there right now. Looking here, yeah, we got just a little bit, so we're technically not wasting any time. I do have the time cranked way down at the moment. I think once we get this guy put over onto a worker will be a good time to start cranking the time up. Because we won't be in quite as much of a hurry to keep up with all of our different workers. I feel like I can barely keep up right now, and if time was cranking forward faster, it would be an even larger struggle for me to try and make sure we're getting all the jobs done. Whoops, without running into time constraints. I should really not be backing up with follow me behind me. That could lead to some disaster. We way oversteered there, so I'm just trying to get a better angle. And would 6th gear be better? No, we lose a little bit of speed doing that. It's flickering down to 8 miles an hour, so we'll keep it in 7th. Seems like kind of a big delta between the different gears. However, our baler seems to be handling everything just fine, so I'm excited. We're making good progress. I think this is the best example of we finally got the right equipment mix on our implements, because we were able to tackle that hill going uphill at 9 miles an hour with no problems, and our baler likewise is champing out that hill, not falling behind. I'm excited to finally be getting things set up and working here on the farm. It's always fun when you get the right pieces in place and things start working very efficiently. We're going to be bringing in a ton of hay this year, and remembering that we've got a barn full of it, or a shed over there full of it, was a good find. I'd completely forgotten about that earlier spring baling session that netted us so many hay bales. So we'll be able to keep these cows fed through the winter for the first time in the series, I think. We've come up short every other season before this, and I'm excited at the possibility that we're going to finally, for our first time on the farm, be able to survive a winter without having to make a lot of purchases. And on top of that, over the course of this winter, we should become fully profitable with all three of our barns. I think we're very close. We're only a few months out on most of those barns before we're really making the money. I think this is going to be our final pass. There should be only 3 more sections here that we got to take out with the rake. Maybe I'm going to miss one more down here as we get to the shorter rows. I'm not sure yet. We'll find out in a second. There's, one last row over here for a few feet that we'll have to drive over, but I won't even have to run the rake. We'll be able to just have the baler follow us down the same path and pick those up. Should work out good. Here we go. We're going to make the wide turn to the left, though, and pick up this little bit that we've missed previously. A couple little bits here, it looks like. Just because we're here, might as well clean things up. And then once we've got these 2 little bits, I'll do the broader circle all the way back down to the lower part. I don't need to be running the rake anymore, though, to do this. And I need to be careful I don't get going too fast, though, because we need that baler to keep up with us, and it is limited by its working speed. Perfect. It looks like it's going to keep up with us, so I'm going to go ahead and fold the rake up, and we'll start heading up this way. And I'm just going to let this baler follow me all the way out to the edge of the field, and then we will stop the baler from running. Oh, I've got this bit that we missed because we messed things up as well. We might as well tackle that real quick. And I'm just going to push this bale out of the way for the sake of making sure we get all of our hay. There we go. Nice big wide turns to make sure that the 4440 can keep up with us. And I'm gonna just park here. We'll tackle the next field in a bit. I think we need to check in on all of our other workers. It's been a bit since we've done that. If I turn this tractor off and jump over here, we're gonna let this worker pick up those 2 little bits that we just drove over. Perfect. And now we'll disable the worker and leave this in position to pick things back up in a bit. Looks like our sunflowers are getting harvested. We're unloading on the go. Everything's looking great over here. Dry spreading is done. And we have, of course, run out of digestate at some point. I didn't even notice, so we will get him filled back up and continued to work on this field. We're starting to run low on digestate, actually, in this semi. We've had so much in there. We still have quite a bit in there, but we're down to 25%, which is great. It means that we're going to be able to empty out our BGA next time we're back up in the yard. I think we've got enough digestate to finish this field, though, in the semi right now. We're going to find out. We're already more than halfway done with the up-down rows because we are starting to head back down the field, which is encouraging, although the headlands on a big field like this are substantial, so we've always got to keep in mind we'll probably need a full load of digestate to handle that. But a full load seems to be about 7% of our semi-trailer, which means we've got at least 2 more, about 2.5 more loads in the semi here. I think we'll be good to go. I'm gonna just run this back up to the headland. We'll get that slurry spreader started out and see what's coming next. All 3 of our swathers got finished down here. At some point, I'm going to need to move all this equipment around, but we'll probably do that off camera here. And just checking in on, of course, our semi that needs to get into the bulk fill point. As always, he's struggling to make his way in here. What I want to do, though, is try and see if we can fill him up. I want to fill him up with a lime at bulk fill dry, and then drive back to is it field 21, the new field that we're doing right now? It is field 21, so that should be good. Let's go ahead and hit go. I want to see if the auto drive is actually capable of filling up all of these little containers, or if it's going to fill one up and then try and move on, because that'd be really unfortunate. And I don't know if this seeds hopper is going to mess us up either, so we'll find out, I suppose. There's the first hopper, and there's the next hopper. It looks like this is actually going to work, so I will be cautiously optimistic and assume that it's going to do the rest of this without our intervention, which leaves us with being ready to start working on bales. Our combining efforts are going well, and it does look like our semi has gotten stuck here trying to dump things off in the farm bin site. Unfortunately, that curve is just a little much for this particular setup, so I'm gonna back up and pull forward there and see if it can handle it on its own now. Looks like it's going. Okay, so once that gets empty, we'll be in a good spot. Let's grab this semi now, and we need to go find ourselves the bale trailer that we've got. I think we've parked that down by the rest of our bale stuff. That's going to be the next big task for us, is to start getting all of the bales off of these fields and get that harvest store filled up, so that we can start moving time forward. And then we've got just a lot of baling work left to do. We've got some field work left to do. I need to get tillage going at some point on these cornfields. We are just busy here on the farm. And it looks like our semi is done unloading. Man, there's just so many things going on. It's hard to keep track of at times, but I feel like we're making really great progress here on getting through all of our fall jobs on the farm here. And we will be back next episode to start working on getting these bales picked up. Hopefully you've enjoyed the episode. If you have, hit that like button and let me know in the comments below what else you'd like to see us tackle in this series. I know a lot of people have suggested that we get some winter wheat in. My only struggle with that is that I can only harvest it in July, which means if I did winter wheat, I guess we could put some soybeans in and then harvest those for the year, give us a chance to mix some things up. So we might do that. We'll work in a little bit of other crops in some of our fields so that we can have some variety on the farm. Well, that's all for today. Ketterk out.